Dolphins do the right thing and they stay at 5 and they draft Tua, they can be the class of that division by 2021 and have the best quarterback in that division by 2021, which would be the first time that franchise had the best quarterback in the AFC East in a quarter century. Tua's a no-brainer for them. If he were healthy and they had gone 0-16, I would have advocated them taking him number 1. I still think, even with his injury concerns, the Bengals should take him number 1, but they're not going to. This nonsense that Justin Herbert might be a better prospect than Tua it boils my blood. I don't understand how anyone could have watched these games and believed it. And a word of caution for any team, Miami or anyone else, that is considering taking Justin Herbert with Tua on the board. The nerds in the analytics community, of which I consider myself one, we've been wrong on a few things over the years. We are yet to be wrong on this. Stay away from that quarterback, X. We've never been wrong. I'll give you the list of guys that we've said, the hell you thinking? It started with Jake Locker. We were right. Then it was Blake Bortles. We were right. Then it was Mitch Trubisky. We were right. Then it was Josh Allen. Jury's still out. I believe we are right. And last year it was Daniel Jones, pardon me. We will be proven right on that. We are 5 for 5 on saying this quarterback who wasn't that good in college, do not draft him in the top 10. So buyer beware for anyone on Herbert. Wilds, you know how much I love Tua. To me, this is an obvious one.
Yeah, I know how much you love Tua. You know who else loves Tua, Nick? Nick Saban's good friend, Bill Belichick. If we could throw it up, maybe run a little music and get Nick's reaction if Tua starts to fall. Oh, boy, here we go, Nick. Buckle up. Boom, boom. Put new music on it. So there's a new report coming out now that the Dolphins were trying to call the Bengals to get to number 1. That means that the Dolphins do not love Tua. That's my read on it. The Bengals are still going to take Burrow, but the fact that the Dolphins are calling around, they don't like Tua. He's going to slip. Oh, who's there? Bill Belichick. Jenna, I feel great about this. I'm rooting for Tua. I don't want him to slip. Oh, hit the music. But I feel really good about Bill Belichick and the Patriots and Tua. Thank you.
Two things. One, even I dance better than this, and I love you, Wilds, but Nick will tell you I have better moves than that. Number 2, didn't we just hear Nick Saban come out this week and say when he was coach of the Miami Dolphins, they regretted passing on Drew Brees for some injury concerns? You wonder if that still haunts the organization today. Brian, what do you think about the possibility of them passing on who Nick calls a sure bet at Tua for a guy like Herbert?
Yeah, I don't like that idea, but I can understand why a team would pass on Tua. And tell me, and listen to this. And I'm a guy that was injured a few times throughout my career, and teams passed on me just because I went to a small school and had some injuries. But Tua at the quarterback position, let's just say that he was going to the Dolphins. To me, he would have to redshirt, first of all, because if you listen to Pro Football Focus, the Dolphins had by far the worst offensive line in football last year. And you redshirt Tua so that he can get completely healthy, number 1. Number 2 is you need to use all the rest of your draft picks, the first couple round picks, on offensive linemen for this year and next year so that the Dolphins can protect Tua, who's had injury concerns in the past. The other part to me, and it's certain, is that when you have a quarterback with these types of concerns, you have to put pieces around him. And I think they need to put a few more pieces around Tua to make him as successful as he possibly can. The other part is the defense. The defensive side of the football for the Dolphins was terrible last year. They were worse in the league, gave up 31 points per game and over 400 yards per game as far as rushing and passing. You can't win that way. So when you can't protect your quarterback and you can't stop anybody on the defensive side of the ball, it's just going to be hard to win. And that doesn't mean that you're a quarterback away. You redshirt Tua, you build up that offensive line, secure that defense, and then in a couple years, 2-3 years, you're a better football team. That's the way I would do if I was Miami.
Brian, it's such a good point. Nick, I'll ask you, remember what happened to Josh Rosen when Arizona took him? They had a shoddy line. He got beat up that whole season, and then Arizona went in a totally different direction. What would be the plan if you bring Tua in if you know you already have a weak offensive line?
So to me, this is very, very simple. The Dolphins spent a lot of money addressing the defense this offseason. They gave Byron Jones a record-setting deal at corner. They brought in former Patriots. Keep in mind, their head coach, Brian Flores, was the Patriots defensive coordinator. Kyle Van Noy and Landon Roberts to upgrade that linebacking core. They brought in Shaq Lawson and Emmanuel Ogbah to upgrade that defensive line. So you have spent money on the defense. It will pay dividends this year. You have picks 5, 18, 26, 39, 56, and 70. 6 picks in the top 70, plus next year you have your first and second, plus Houston's first and second. You draft Tua. You spend the 18th pick on a wide receiver. You spend the 26th pick on an offensive lineman. Those rest of the top 70, you take best player available, and next year you do it again in the draft. And all of a sudden, you've turned it around like this. That you can turn it around that quickly with this type of cap space, that type of draft capital, Wilds, if you take the right quarterback. And they have to know if they don't take Tua at 5, it does become a possibility that your New England Patriots, I'm sorry, your second favorite team, you're a Bucs fan now, but that your former favorite team, the Patriots, that they could get Tua Tagovailoa, and they don't want to deal with another 20 years of a Hall of Fame quarterback in their own division, Wilds.
Nick, it's back.
Christ.
It's back. And to Brian's point, if only there was an offensive line that was prepared and has been training to protect a quarterback who didn't like to get hit. Oh, come on up I-95. Tua's ready to go.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.